get pumped. Hey, get pumped. Hey, get pumped. Hey, get pumped. I hope we live. Okay, first and foremost, just want to thank anyone who's out there watching. We're really just doing this as a way for us to explore new skills, right, gang? So we're going to do that. We're going to do our exact podcast show. Some of it is scripted and some of it is going to be impromptu, winging it. We're going to make sure that we try really hard to not have potty mouths since this is a family affair. And join us on this journey. The podcast this episode is live and it will be available after this broadcast on our podcasting hosting site. And it will be available on, Apple and Spotify after this is done. So just thank you all, everybody who's watching and hey, get pumped. Hey, get pumped. Hey, yay. What's up, Carol Lee and Alexandria? So glad to see you guys. So great for you to be here. So let's get it started. Hey guys, and welcome to the Let's K12 Better podcast. This podcast is a project between myself, Mom of All Capes, and my kids. Hi. All right. Yes. So
in our podcast, we will cover a variety of subjects involving K-12 education and family life.
We talk about the ways that parents, kids, and educators can improve K-12 education and family life.
We encourage you to join our conversation on social media using the hashtag #Let'sK12Better.
All right. So just to give you guys a bit of background about the show, the reason we started this podcast the last week in March as quarantine, really was solidified and started. And then also as all of the Black Lives Matter protests began, we started this podcast because we wanted to have real conversations as a family. And we thought, why not also incorporate some project-based learning into the mix as well. So that's why we started this podcast. Again, this episode is live. And so in this episode, we're going to cover a bit about gratitude and reflecting on this past year. So we really encourage everybody out there to just drop in the things that they're grateful for, drop in some reflections over this year. This has been a tumultuous year. What's up, Gabriel? So glad to see you here. So thank you so much for stopping by as well. 2020 has been trying. It's been stressful on so many levels. And we want to really acknowledge that for everyone. We also want to say, teachers have been pushed really hard this year. So we want to acknowledge that. We also want to push, hi there. What's up, Dark Horse? We want to push the fact that teachers have been struggling this year and have been pushed up against the wire. Parents have been pushed up against the wire this year. We want to shout out to all of the essential workers out there, anybody who is, in the medical field, anybody who is a grocer. We had a conversation, right, guys, about the people who work in the grocery store and how many people our grocers see each day and have seen each day during this pandemic. And hopefully people start to show love for the people who are bagging their groceries, who are scanning their groceries and risking their lives so that we can have food. I know that at the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of the shelves were empty. So we want to acknowledge and just show our appreciation for the fact that people worked really hard to get food back on the shelves in the grocery stores as well. There are people who are doing the firefighting and, there are, policemen and there's a lot of people out there who are trying to hold society together, teachers, parents, etc. So we want to give thanks and gratitude for those people. We also, before we start our family conversation, you know what? I'm just going to stop right here and shout Gabe out. He says, I'm grateful for all the work that Mom of All Capes does. Love that the kids are co-producing on this. Thank you so much. Yes, agency. Yes, student voice. What's up, Kelly? She says, hello, Amber and girls. Spending New Year's Eve with you starts 2020 out beautifully. Kelly, you are awesome. Thank you so much to the beautiful spirits out there watching with us. Before we get into our family discussion, we really appreciate gratitude. And so, we really focus on that as a family. We have been very thankful that I work from home. And so for us, transitioning them from being in school full time to being here has been pretty easy, right? We've had our ups and downs and our trials and tribulations, but we do want to acknowledge that it hasn't been easy for everyone. And we hope that we can continue to use our voice to just shed light on the different experiences that people have had. We did that with the COVID and families and teachers episode, right? Where we discovered some of the things that educators were experiencing during COVID-19 and some of the things that parents who are also in education were experiencing and their fears of going back to school in the fall. Obviously, having discussions about Black Lives Matter protests and how you could talk with your kids about that. We're going to be doing more of that in 2021, talking about anti-racism and how that works, and how you can just be a better advocate in your home, how you can raise socially conscious kids. So get ready, 2020. There's more of that, more discussions on that, and more opportunities for you guys to engage with us in open live discussion. We don't want it to be us telling you what to think. We want this to be a community discussion and a community growth experience. So with that, this podcast serves kind of as an opportunity for us to grow together as a family. We hope that you guys who have been home with your families or who've been home with loved ones have taken a moment to get to know each other. I know for us, thanks, Kelly. Love all the work that you do. And the work that you each other do to make the world better. I've grown exponentially through your work. Thank you, Kelly. Feeling is mutual. We hope that families are at home having these conversations. I'm going to ask these guys, what are some things that we have benefited from having ongoing family discussions?
Stuff that we've benefited from is learning new things about what other people think and what each other think.
So learning about what other people think is really important, and also bonding over what each other think. Who else wants to share?
Also that we are more prompt to just start a family discussion out of nowhere because we're so used to it.
Yeah, so now that we have had these family discussions, then we're continuing to have the family discussions even off mic, right? Although we talked, it is a skill that we're developing and we're growing and bonding over. Do you want to share anything? Okay, so shout out to Granny. All right, so Jessica, my mom, is here. What? We love you. Hey, Amber and Grant's thankful for you. We're thankful for you too. Our cousin Autumn says hi. She's thankful for family and everyone. So thank you guys so much for that. What I would say is the benefits of having ongoing family discussions. You don't have to start a family podcast, but if you want to, yes, right? Yay. Thank you, Dark Horse, for that. Intelligent responses. We really want to make sure that, you listen to what your kids have to say. So it's not just you as the adult, you as the teacher, you as the mentor or auntie or grandparent talking at the kids. You want it to be an ongoing conversation and having space for them to learn from you and also you to learn from them. I have picked up so many gems from these guys and their wisdom that they've shared through our experience doing this podcast together. It has been really amazing. I am a student voice advocate. And so thinking about the ways that kids think about our world, right, is really, really critical and super important, right? So kids can't vote, but still they have opinions about the societies that they live in. Kids can't run for office or teach in a classroom as of yet, right? But they still have ideas about how government should run and also the ways that they would love to be taught and spoken to. So what are some things that you guys think about, student voice and empowering kids?
Some things I think about is that it's really good to let your kids speak because you said, you can learn a lot of things and new experiences or about how they feel.
Okay.
I think I said this in an episode, but when we listen to what kids have to say, we can help prepare them because they're the next generation and they're going to be the next grown up. So if we listen to what kids have to say, then it'll be better for them and their next generation.
That's awesome. Thank you. Anything you want to share?
Some things I think about are how our government can be run differently from the way it's run right now. Because of COVID, a lot of things have changed, and so we need to kind of adapt to that. And other than adapt, we haven't really adapted to that as well.
Okay, awesome. So kids have opinions about all kinds of things. And it's really important for us to make space to listen. We don't have to do everything that the kids say, but we do need to make sure that they feel heard and that they're empowered to grow in their opinion. So I'm going to stop and read some of the stuff in the chat. Thank you guys for engaging with us. If you're enjoying this conversation, again, for those who will be listening later on the podcast, this is a live broadcast. This is us learning how to live broadcast, which has been very interesting, which we could share later. And then also, I would love people to drop in the chat what they think about empowering students to use their voice. And then also to, invite a friend, bring a friend in. We want this to be a community discussion. So go ahead and invite some people, tag some people on social media that you think would benefit from this group conversation. We're going to read some of these comments in the chat. Let's see. Brianna says, perspectives of the younger humans in our family are so powerful. Yes, shout out to that. Thank you, Brianna, for sharing that. Carolee says, I'm grateful for all of you for leading the way and modeling healthy and respectful conversations about our current moment as a family. We need more of this. Thank you so much, Carolee. You hold a special place in our heart. Gabe +1 that. We have Knuckles 80 says they should be given a forum whereby they can pool and expound their ideas. I love that. This is a platform idea, everybody. If there is a platform that you're thinking about, I should build a tool, maybe we need to build a collective student voice tool. And if it is already out there, please share it with us. I know I'll shout out Yuritsa and Flipgrid. They do a great job, Flipgrid, of providing platforms for students to elevate their voice. Yuritsa is an amazing ambassador for them. So check that out if you're looking for a tool. But if there's another tool out there that you like using, please share that with us. And then Brianna says, where are you starting your school and where do we sign up? Yo, school's right here. Everybody join us there. Everybody pull up a chair. Thank you so much, Dark Horse. Wow, great response on the government. So true. Shout out to Reggie Coleman, grandfather. My dad, he says, I'm so thankful for my very intelligent children and grandchildren. Even 1-year-olds, like fairness, 2-year-olds make choices. Yes, Jessica Coleman, my mom. So as y'all can see, my own parents are also helping, mold my own opinions about how we do student voice. And then shout out to Gabe. He says, I love that people are using Flipgrid, but it can and should be so much more. So let's dig in. And what's up, Marcania? What's up, Dr. M? So thank you for joining us. So I just want to say, we're going to use this space to just continue to talk about how we can have a great 2021, how we can reflect on the things we've learned in 2020 to make it a better year. Thank you. Welcome to our home. Generally, we're there behind us at the kitchen table, but today, because of the video, me learning how to do video, it's been rough. So we couldn't be at the table today. Knuckles says, I, for one, am learning every day. Knowledge is power and a tool to understand others. So thank you so much for sharing that. So, again, we use this project to learn a bit about podcasting, right? So this is a family project. We weren't coming into this to do anything other than let's learn and let's have discussions and maybe we can meet new, cool and interesting people during this experience. And we totally have, right? What are some cool and interesting people that we've learned because of the podcast? What are some things we've done since we've started the podcast?
Some people that we had on a podcast were
I'll give you a help. We had Dr. Minna Demasay.
Yeah.
She talked about public policy.
Yeah.
Who else? What else?
In general, we got to interview some of our family members, and it's not that we didn't talk to them about it before, but we got to learn more about them.
Yeah, that's true. So we got to dig in deeper and learn more about people who are in our lives, and we just didn't know how super cool they were. We had an idea, but didn't really know how amazing they were. How about you?
This is not an exact person, but I really love when we were interviewing people, everyone sort of had a different response, and that kind of widened our perspective and gave us more narratives to work off of.
Yes. Excellent. So when you do interview people and you do expand your understanding of the world, right? I think one thing that we're missing right now as a society is fully understanding other people. Thank you for that.
And how other people opinions.
Yes. And understanding that other people have opinions. Do we have to agree with everyone's opinion all the time?
No.
No. But what do we have to do about other people's opinions?
We have to listen and respect them.
Listen and respect. So, that's one thing that we're really pushing home with doing this podcast is, that's right, Gabe, empathy. We need more empathy, y'all. Like, let's everybody make a collective promise for 2021 that empathy is going to be at the forefront of every single thing that we do. And also like unlearning some of the things that we've learned. Shout out to Dr. P is in the house. The Portnoy crew is so grateful to be learning with you. We are so grateful to be on a journey with you as well, Dr. P. Perspectives may vary, but respect is always there. Y'all are walking the talk. Thank you so much, Dr. Lindsay Portnoy. Love you so much. Love your fam. Shout out to y'all. Kelly says, at Reggie Coleman, you have much to be proud of. Oh, thank you for that. And Carolee says, yes, listen and respect others' opinions. Empathy, totally. I think, empathy is hard to teach because I think it's inherent, I think, in some folks, but it is also something that many others have to learn, right? So what are some ways that we can show empathy for others or how can you teach empathy? So those are two different questions that you can tackle. We'll let you go first.
Something you can do to at least learn more about being able to have empathy for others is to kind of like what we're doing with the podcast, like to kind of talk to different people and get their perspectives because not everyone was like created the same. They might not be like exactly like you, but they might have valued opinions and they should have valued opinions.
I love that. Thank you so much.
What was the questions again?
That's cool. That's cool. You're right. You're right in character. So with the question, so it's like, how can we teach others or how can you learn empathy? All right. Or how do you train yourself to have more empathy? That's the question I'm gonna have you answer.
You can train yourself to have empathy, but like actually, like if you listen to someone's opinion and you're like, oh, maybe I can help with that, or like, oh, I agree with that opinion, and like see if you have something similar or different.
I love that. Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to add?
You should like respect people and show them that what they have to say matters, even if it really doesn't matter to you, but you have to make sure that like you wouldn't want someone to just ignore you when you're talking, so you want to make sure that you don't ignore them when they're talking.
So we're hearing like active listening being a trend with learning empathy here. Another trend with empathy would be unlearning. So that's something that we've been really pressing into this year. Like, what are some things that we can unlearn, especially with like Black Lives Matter and like the social justice movements that sprang up this spring and summer and that have, gone in through the fall, is that there's a lot to unlearn in this country, right? Like, there's a ton that we need to unlearn as civic actors in this nation if we want to move forward. And, if we're going to exercise empathy, we have to also exercise humility and being able to say, you know what, I had these beliefs before, maybe I can change. Exactly. And I can grow. Exactly. Right. Okay. So we're going to read some of these comments here. We get it in elementary and we lose it as we grow older. Gabe, that is an excellent, excellent point, right? So, I'm wondering, like, where does it happen that people just immediately empathy leaves? And, if you guys have ideas about where the empathy leaves us or when the empathy leaves us, please drop them in the chat. And those who will be listening later, if you have ideas, please send them to us. Let us know. We are always trying to look for the latest research on, how can we be better humans? This is a faultless approach and I love it. Thank you so much, Knuckles. Listen to understand, not to respond. That is perfect, Dr. P. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. I was so proud that you and your mom and your daughters were in the Women's March and it was an excellent teaching moment. Thank you so much, Dad. I appreciate that. A lot of information. Reading between the lines is also key. Love that addition, Knuckles. So, a lot of great things coming up in the chat, a lot of great conversation happening here. We are going to jump into some of our scripted stuff. We have a question. what's something that you are looking forward to that didn't happen this year? All right. So for everyone in the chat, think about like what's something that, 2019 happened and then 2020 dropped and we're like, yes, oh my God, there's zeros in this year.
Amazing.
Yes.
Everything's going to be so cool.
It's going to be awesome, right? I got all these plans. What is something that didn't happen in 2020 that you're super disappointed about, right? What's a bummer?
My 5th grade graduation didn't happen.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed out about that.
In school we were supposed to go to the zoo, and I was really actually bummed out about it.
Yeah, no zoo trip in 2020.
I don't know. I didn't really like, other than like lacrosse getting canceled, there was not really anything else that I had planned. But like a lot more opportunities opened during 2020. So actually I'm happy 2020 came. So yeah.
Okay. See, gratitude and Thanksgiving. What else?
Also, yeah, we wouldn't have had this podcast if it wasn't for COVID.
Okay. Well, see, you guys are like pivoting into like all the good things. So yeah, a whole lot hasn't happened in 2020. I think, travel didn't happen. I was supposed to go to South by Southwest in March of 2020, and that didn't happen. There's so many things, but these guys and their positive attitudes, I love it. Like we already pivoted into the next question. So like before we do pivot into that next question, and as each person thinks about all of the different things, that are potential bummers, like I didn't get to spend, Thanksgiving as a large group, I didn't get to travel and visit my grandparents who are super old, or, I didn't get to XYZ, right? Or I didn't get to hug that loved one more time, right? Because there are some real important things that didn't get to happen this year because of 2020, but we still want to acknowledge, right, that there's other things that we can be thankful for. We don't want to have like toxic positivity, right? So I want to throw that out there. We're not just saying, 2020, just be happy, right? I think the good thing about gratitude is acknowledging the fact that you're bummed out, that you're disappointed, you're hurt, you're feeling I don't even know, like just it's sheer disappointment, sadness, right? We can acknowledge that some people have experienced depression during 2020. Like acknowledging those feelings is super important, right? And then also we don't want to stay in that place, right? We want to figure out, okay, I'm in this place, right? How do I
turn myself into someone that can like change when I'm in this situation instead of just complaining about how bad it is. Everything is.
Yo, gems dropped. Okay. So how do I grow when I'm in a place of sadness, right? That's a real important characteristic to develop. How do I grow when I'm in this place of depression? Who are my advocates out there who can help me when I'm in these times? So it's really, really important that we think about like our network of people that we have around us to help us during these times of extreme disappointment. What are some things that we can be grateful for during extreme disappointment? We don't want to like have that toxic positivity, because I do get that is like also not good. We want to acknowledge when the bad things and disappointments happen. So I want to read some of the things that have come up in the chat that are super awesome. We can do amazing things, but we need to lead with empathy. So going back to the empathy, thank you, Carol Lee. Want to go back and say humility is critical and self-awareness is necessary for growth. Thank you, Dr. Marquena. I love that. Gabe is saying there is a phrase in Spanish which loosely translate to God works when we are humble. Yes, love that. We will be adopting that in our home and like write it somewhere. So scrolling down here, we see Autumn didn't have gymnastics this year, but we sometimes stretch and do floor exercises as a family. So way to be creative. Thank you so much, Auntie Alex. Way to be creative when adversity comes, right? There's a hella bummer list for real, LOL. Yeah, that's right, Knuckles. Need to remain pragmatic. So let's see, what else do we have here? When walking is in as a learner, our perspectives can become clearer more concise, and work can be accomplished. Kelly, I love that statement. Thank you so much for sharing that. Barbara, shout out to you. Yes, Barbara, way to be in the room. Awesome. So glad that you're here. So you said, I met Mom of All Capes and was supposed to meet at South by Southwest in 2020, and I'm thankful for you and your beautiful kids online. Barbara, so glad to be connected with you online. Thank you so much for being here. So my mom says Zoom meetings can be cool as visits. Didn't think about video chatting until 2020. So more creative solutions can come out of disappointment. Carolee says, yes, acknowledge super bummers, reject toxic positivity, but we got to have fun and experience it together virtually. And you're so right. I just love the fact, and thank you all so much for the love in the chat and all of the awesome responses. I think that it is just really, really important for us to be creative during times of disappointment, during times when we're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that that has happened. How do I pivot, right? There are people who have had to cultivate relationships that were lost because of COVID-19, right? Out of necessity. Think about who haven't I reached out to in the last couple of weeks that I can reach out to cultivate a new awesome relationship with, right? So again, creativity during this time is super important, and that's what we're using. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to some of our other questions. So we're not shy about giving thanks. We want to make sure that we take each opportunity to think about how others deeply contribute to our satisfaction and how we contribute deeply to the satisfaction of others, right? So it's not just about people serving me. How can I be in service of other people? So, Garvey.
Please share what you're thankful for with us in the chat, or even ask us questions about how you can show more gratitude.
Yes. All right. So as we go along, everyone continue to please keep dropping in the things that you're thankful for. All right. The things that you're grateful for in the chat. And we'll just continue to keep reading those out. Share any other creative pivots you've had to make during this time. We would love to continue to read those. We're loving reading those. So in episode 25, we shared, how we see gratitude. And Naima has, a little clip in there where she talks about our gratitude affirmation that we've read. So Naima, would you like to read this out loud, the gratitude affirmation for everyone?
Sure. I am thankful for the entirety in self, and I am a growing, learning, and evolving being, a sentient force in a vast universe that chooses to connect with others around me through Thanksgiving.
Awesome. So I'm going to read that one more time. I am thankful for the entirety of self and that I am a growing, learning, and evolving being, a sentient force in a vast universe that chooses to connect with others around me through Thanksgiving, right? So, each and every one of us we should make that choice to connect with other people. Each and every one of us should make that choice to want to be in service to others. How can I use my gifts to elevate and lift up those around me? So shout out to Barbara. She says, I'm grateful for Zoom. So I was able to connect with people around the world and my family. That is awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Brianna says, I'm thankful for people dedicated to learn, grow, inspire, and do the work. Yes, Brianna, because anti-racism work is challenging. Social justice work is exhausting. People are dedicating their lives to that. And I want to acknowledge that right now in this moment. Shout out to Share Mobilize Now. What? Yes. A digital protest that happened, because of the death of Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others. People coming together during this time. I think it was like 28 weeks now, and Brianna, please correct me if I'm wrong, but 28 weeks, we came to a lot of the protests too, to listen to people share their stories, so that we can lift each other up and learn about how we can connect so that we can make improvements in this world for the next generation. So shout out to Share Mobilize Now. What? Okay. So, we held a family gratitude challenge. So we are halfway into the show. What? And I will be honest that we challenged ourselves to think about gratitude each day for 30 days. So it was the time from like the end of Thanksgiving through to the Christmas holiday, a little bit after the Christmas holiday. I'm not going to say that we did this every day because the struggle is real, but we do have lots of gratitude in this jar. So shake it up. Who wants to? We'll just read some. We won't read them all. Part of the challenge. And then as we're pulling these out, I want to just let everybody know, each day we said each person should spend 5 to 10 minutes to think about and reflect on what they've been grateful for. And then each person should take some time to write that down and place it in the jar. Right. And so then on New Year's Day, we reflect out loud. You don't have to pull yours out of the jar, but hopefully, at least before the ball drops 12 or less than 12 hours from now, you take some time to just think about
what you're grateful for.
Absolutely. All right. So who wants to go first?
Me.
All right. So what's one thing that you're pulling out of this jar? Maybe we could talk about.
Okay. So it says money.
Okay. That's who wrote this one?
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
All right, so we're grateful for money. Why? I guess we'll say resources instead of just saying money.
Money is a resource.
Yes, so resources allow you to do what?
I guess that person said money because, like, maybe they meant money like the income flow. So, like, they're thankful for it because that's the way that we have our house and, like, clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And stuff like that. So maybe they're thankful for money or like income flow because that's, yeah.
That's how you stay afloat. Okay. All right.
Say mine next.
Okay. Well, we're going to go down the line. We're going to go down the line.
I'm thankful for Mom.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Aw, thank you. All right. So I'm going to pull one out. Let's see here. All right. Okay, someone said the earth not blowing up, and then they wrote, yeah, in parentheses. All right, y'all are wildin'. We should have vetted these beforehand. I guess that's a good one.
It says money.
Okay, resources. Okay, so we've been really focused on that.
Can I pick another one?
Yeah, you can pick a different one. Okay, here we go.
My grandma.
Oh, so thankful for your grandma. All right. So like, again, everybody has different things that they're grateful for. I would say that, as we move toward the ball dropping and the year going from 2020 to 2021, that we really think about what is it that we are thankful for this year. And hopefully you could do that as a family, right? It's good to reflect on your own by yourself, but it is also important for you to reflect as a group with each other. So you're knowing what each other is thinking, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So we're going to read some of the stuff in the chat. Dr. P says, I'm grateful for your patience with us white folks who are working to unlearn and show up without taking up all the space. Shout out to that. We need everybody. We need everyone. Phenomenal online protest. Share Mobilize Now. That's right, Kelly. Barbara says, ditto what Lindsay said about being patient. I have so much to unlearn and relearn, listening more now. Shout out to that. Thank you so much, Barbara. Let's see. Brianna shared the link, so please check out Share Mobilize Now and follow them, y'all. Dr. Marcania says, I'm thankful for new beginnings. Yes to that. Yes. Alexandria says, I think it's rad that you can maintain an attitude of gratitude even with everything going on, especially as your platform focuses on social justice, which can be frustrating. Yeah, I will say that it is sometimes, I'll be really honest, it is really challenging to stay positive, right? Because you're like, there are people who are dying, there are people who don't have access to high quality education or resources or healthcare. And in those moments, you're like, oh my God, like what can I do? Instead of getting angry about it, you just keep teaching and keep having these conversations. But it is exhaustive work, but it is necessary work. And I want to just shout out anybody doing the work, whether a Black person doing the work, a non-Black person of color doing the work, a white person doing the work. Hopefully you're exhausted while you're doing the work, but you don't give up, because we need everybody. Yay for Margaret. We agree. Thank you, Mom, for that. Reginald Coleman, my dad says, I believe that the greatest gift is giving yourself to others, not in a way that lifts yourself up, but lifts others up. So just remember that anytime you're out here doing work, are you doing it for your edification, or what are you doing
people?
For other people.
For the well-being of society.
Yes. Knuckles says, I'm thankful for being imbued with an inner perpetual thirst for knowledge. I love that, Knuckles. Yes. Sonia says, there are so many people who were without during this pandemic and with loss of jobs. I know that I was very blessed that my husband and I both had our jobs. Yes, agreed. So, I appreciate everything that you guys are dropping in the chat. Thank you guys for being open and sharing with us. We are going to, so the kids came up with a couple quotes about gratitude. So they're going to share.
I can go first.
Yeah, you can go first. What do you got for us?
So, my quote was, it's kind of simple, but be thankful for what you get.
What are you saying to the people here when you say that?
When I say that, I mean, be thankful for what you get, meaning like, don't just, I'm going to bring another saying, but like, beggars should not be choosers. If you get something, be thankful for it, because it could be gone the next day.
I love that. Thank you so much for that.
My quote is that we need to acknowledge. Oh, wait. Can I start over?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, I put the wrong one. Okay. My quote is that when we give thanks, we let people know that we care and that they didn't waste, and it wasn't the. Okay, wait. Can I start over one more time?
This is live.
Sorry.
No one's upset. Let's go.
Sorry. Usually on the podcast, I mess up like 4 times, and then Mom just edited it out as it is. Okay. When we give thanks, we let people know that we care and that what they did wasn't a waste of time.
That's awesome. What does that mean?
I also it means that when people do a favor for us, or when people say something nice about us, and sometimes this triggers me, but if someone says oh, I like your hair, and they're just saying I know, it to the person who said that they like your hair, it's kind of like a waste, because they're if you know, just be thankful. Even if you do know, just say thank you, because they know that, they acknowledge that you care about them and you're just trying to be nice. And I
appreciate that. Thank you.
My quote is, when you are thankful, considerate, or kind, it will come around in a way you will not expect it.
So what does that mean?
If I put that in my own words, it means if you do something really nice for someone, and you don't a lot of people don't expect for something to come back, but then a lot of times they get a thank you, or thank you for helping me, or doing that thing for me, or giving them something as the other person telling them that they're thank you.
Okay. So it's important for us to say thank you, but then it also feels good when someone acknowledges that you've shown gratitude or appreciation. That's the gist of what all of you guys are saying, I'm going to say. So Brianna says it's not self-help work. Thank you so much. I also want to keep reading. Blue Lantern says, I'm thankful for my awesome family. Yes to awesome families. So glad that you are thankful for yours. Knuckles says, I'm thankful for mine and others' music. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Kelly says, so true. Be happy for what you have in the moment. Beautifully said. Don't forget, there's always someone worse off than you. Yes, there is. And in that, right, when you're thinking about, showing gratitude or being thankful, and being thankful for gratitude's sake, right? You don't necessarily want to always compare and say, well, there's always someone worse off, but you do want to acknowledge that, right? You do want to say there is someone who's worse off, right, than I am. How do I help them? So when I pivot that, I say, how can I help them? How can I reach out to them? Right? If my kids are getting a decent education or a good education, how can I help someone who's not? Right? What's my role in improving the life of someone else? Not as a savior, but as an advocate, as an accomplice, jumping in there with them and helping figure that out. So I love that.
Can I say something about you saying like not being a savior?
Mhm.
Okay, so like we want to make sure that we are not doing it so that we look good, but like doing it so that we can just help. Like mom said, be an advocate, because if you're doing it just so that it can up your profile, it actually lowers it, because it's like, why would you do something nice for like nothing? So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for dropping that gem. I appreciate that. I'm going to say some more of the stuff that's coming in the chat. It says, so true. Okay. So it says, learning how to take a compliment is important. Yes, Kelly, saying thank you and being grateful. Thank you so much for all of these comments. We are loving it. So I also want to just give a couple shout outs because, our podcast has taken us to some really amazing places, to some really insane places that our minds have been blown, right? Like, so, I just want to shout out some of the places that we've been this year as we reflect and show gratitude. So shout out to the mother of all shows, right? So during the time where Black Lives Matter protests and all of the social justice was happening in the spring and summer, many people reached out to have me come and talk about how do we talk to our kids about this, right? How do we talk to Black kids about this, non-Black kids of color about this, white kids about this? People were like, hey, Amber, what do you think? I've been talking about this for quite some time, and it was just really great to be able to have an opportunity to share this perspective with other people. So shout out to, mother of all shows. Shout out to TC After Dark. Shout out to, let's see who else. Shout out to Sri, right? Shout out to Sri Srinivasan. Like, shout out to him and his awesome live show, his COVID-19 show. We were number 87. I think they're almost at like 300. They're probably over 300 episodes by now. Yeah, because he's been doing his show every day. So shout out to Sri for that. Shout out to Tara Parker Pope for, bringing us on to the New York Times Live to talk about how to raise a socially conscious anti-racist kid. Just really appreciate her, like, elevating our experiences on that platform. Shout out to Kion Wolf, right? And with this whole, like, how beyond solidarity and talking about anti-racism and like what white people can do to be better allies. So really appreciate that. Thank you, A. Martinez and the Take Two family and the LAist for having us come on their show as well to talk about this topic. I think that the more people who have these discussions about anti-racism and about how we can raise socially conscious kids of all backgrounds, the better off we're going to be. We are nowhere near where we need to be as a society. And it's kind of been, I guess, my charge and my mission in these last couple months to just continue to talk about it and continue to hey guys, we got more work to do. Hey guys, we're not done. We got to keep going. Kudos to you guys who are doing the work. Shout out to Kadeen and Deval Ellis. The Ellises are super dope. Please, if you don't know about them, check out their podcast. It's called the Deadass Podcast. They both have like live shows on YouTube as well. They're really amazing parents raising 3 awesome young Black men into adulthood. So shout out to them for having me to come and talk about how we have these conversations with our Black children, because these are very different conversations about race that need to happen. Right. We need to have a collective conversation about race, and then
a part.
Yes.
Could say
individual conversations. So we'll do more shout outs in a little bit, but I also want to say some of the stuff that's come up in the chat. Alexandria says, I agree with Garvey. Sometimes it's difficult when people are not showing gratitude or show it in a way that is incongruent with what is conventional. Yes. Awesome. Kelly agrees with that. Blue Lantern says, I'm so thankful for my job. Even though it is not the job I want right now, I can provide for my family. Things won't go back to being the same, and they never will. But I believe they can be better. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Blue Lantern. Availing your skills as a vehicle, a conduit to that end goal of greater understanding is key too. Love that, Knuckles. What I love is that you are also that you also share your kids' voices. I'm consistently learning constantly learning from all of the discussions. Looking forward to more in 2021. Autumn loves us. We love you too, Autumn. Shout out to our cousins. Shout out to all of our baby cousins. Understanding through respect has popped up in the chat. Thank you, Knuckles. Yes, so important for all of us raising socially conscious kids of all backgrounds. Thank you so much for that, Kara Lee. And then my mom says, you can have new beginnings if you were never thankful before. Start today. Also be a cheerful giver. I'm going to shout out my mom on that because she would always say when I was little that the Lord loves a cheerful giver. So don't just give, like give with a spirit of cheerfulness. That is something that has been burned in my memory forever. I often say it to my own kids who may at times roll their eyes at me. All right. So with that, we want to move on to a couple more questions that we're going to answer and that we would like for you guys to answer as well. Oh, thanks, Knuckles. It's so uplifting to be in this space with you as well. This is awesome. I guess because we've talked a lot about gratitude, but let's talk about reflection, right? So we've done some looking back, but we really haven't defined what reflection is. So Garvey, I'm going to ask you first. What does it mean to reflect? You know, what does it require a person to do? What is reflection?
So reflection is like, it's when we look back at a situation and we talk about it, or we think about what we did and either forgive yourself if it was bad, think about what you would have done today, or think about how you can change from that, and think about if you did something bad to someone, how you can earn back their trust, or how they can forgive you, or how you can help them to grow and how you can grow. So I guess to conclude it, I guess when you reflect is when you look back and you change.
I love that. So you look back and you change. What do you want to say?
Reflecting is also a learning experience. It's not a one-off thing. It helps you grow so that when you experience that situation or a similar situation, then you will be able to apply your newfound knowledge from reflecting on that new situation.
Yo, these are gems that they are dropping. Thank you. I didn't know you guys were so dope. Well, I did. Is there anything you want to add about reflection?
That one, like when we're reflecting, we can also learn, like, it's like brainstorming when we reflect on things where it's like, okay, this is what we need for this. So how about, wait, I have a better idea, but we can still use that idea. Like if you're planning for a potluck and you're like, okay, it's a pizza party, and then one guy brings hot dogs and there's like, oh, that's a great idea. And then another guy brings burgers.
I love you so much. Okay, so I'm going to tie this in, right? And tell me if I'm wrong. So let me help you here. So maybe from a past situation, if someone asked for everybody to bring something from the potluck and you knew that someone got sick from hot dogs last time, you brought the hot dogs, maybe reflecting on bringing hot dogs wasn't a great idea. Right. So like when we brainstorm, we want this to be a learning experience. So welcome to the podcast live, right? Like these are some of the things that don't get to make it in the show, but like we are leaving them in for this time around, right? So reflecting is a growth experience. It's brainstorming about things that have happened in the past. And it's also thinking about how we can, I love that part that Garvey said, earn somebody's trust back, right? So we're going to read some of the things in the chat. So it says, examine a situation amidst the gifts of hindsight in order to adapt future attitude and approach. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. So, again, like hopefully each and every one of you guys takes time to reflect on some of the things that you would have liked to have gone differently this year, or things that have happened in the past that you're just like, maybe not, right? Reflection is a great tool. Reflection coupled with gratitude is an excellent tool that helps with empathy. So Dr. P is shouting out her son, Judah. He says, reflection is thinking about the past to change what you do in the future. Shout out to you, Judah. I love that. Yes, 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 yes. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So, even though this year was not perfect, right? Oh, actually, before we ask this question, so I'm going to say to anyone, do you guys have any tips for when people experience setbacks, right? So if you guys have tips for when people experience setbacks, we forgot to ask this question before. How can people bounce back? Please drop them in the chat. We would love ideas about that. We've all experienced setbacks this year. Again, whether it was not being able to have that awesome family dinner at Thanksgiving or during a holiday, a Christmas, winter holiday, Hanukkah, right? Or whether it was we couldn't travel somewhere or a family member passed or anything, right? When we experience setbacks, what tips do you guys have to help people bounce back, right? So we'll wait for you guys to drop some of that in the chat. Barbara, thank you so much. She says, I love the reflections from the mouth of babes. Hot dogs, yes. Judah's embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Judah, mission accomplished. That's right. Like, we love hearing from you. Okay. Brianna says, ask your ego to step aside so that the reflection can truly help make change. I love that so very much. Again, if you guys have tips for when people experience setbacks and how they bounce back, please share them. Do you guys have tips for people who experience setbacks? What would you say? What's one?
I'd say like if
How do you bounce back?
You bounce back by like if you like think, okay, so I can't do this. Maybe I can try something else that might be similar or like that might work also.
Love that.
So like making a plan and like sort of like reflecting on your first plan and like changing it and seeing what works next.
So the ultimate pivoting.
Sort of like what Garvey said, pivoting and like reflecting on like plan A, but you don't always have to make a plan B. You can revise plan A instead of having to go through the whole process and make another plan. You can just revise that plan and make maybe plan A point 2.
I love that. So the ultimate pivot is great. So we're going to read here. My dad says, actually, Carol Lee is shouting out Judah and saying awesome insight. So throwback to that. Thank you so much for that. Reginald Coleman, my dad says, show me a person that hasn't made a mistake and I'll show you a person that hasn't made anything. Shout out to you for that, Dad. I love that. We all make mistakes. And so it's really great to know that you can always bounce back from the mistakes you make. Acknowledge it. So Brianna's saying, acknowledge it. Name the feelings that you experience. Validate that they are there for a reason and allow yourself to shift your focus. I love that. Knuckles is saying, if you fail, get up and do it again and fail better. Yes, we only grow when we make mistakes. So the mind makes adjustments every time we make a mistake or an error and we pivot. Shout out to my sister Asia. What? Sending you blessings for your new baby that's on the way. Yes, we can't wait to meet them. She says 2020, we have had many chances to reassess and reassign importance. I love that. I love that because we have eliminated a lot out of our lives because of 2020, either because we had to or either because it was just ridiculous for this time. I know, I talked to Dr. P about this once and I said, sometimes I felt like I was driving around strangers in my minivan, just dropping strangers off to practice or to games or to, parties. I really got to know my kids when I got to sit down and have discussions with them on the podcast, when we talked about the things that they were really feeling during a time that was stressful, right? COVID-19, especially remote learning, can be stressful for kids as well as teachers and parents, but really for kids. And so we had conversations like, what is this like? Is this reporting mechanism even working for you? How do we get through this? Give me a hug. I have given out more hugs.
So
many hugs, right? Like, yeah, so many hugs during this time.
Randomly, you'll walk up to us like, can I have a hug?
Right, can I have one now? Thank you. Yes. Oh, thank you. Like, seriously. So like, just thinking about that and just saying like, I love that, Asia. Thank you so much for making it very clear that this was an opportunity to trim the fat for many families. And hopefully, as you go into 2021, the things that were ridiculous in your lives. In fact, I contributed to Harvard Business Review advice column on that, right? The things that are ridiculous in your lives, let's not bring them into 2021. The relationships that were toxic for us in 2020. Yes, we can leave them behind us. We don't have to take those with us. I just want to read some more things in the chat. It says, let's see, Alex says, I think sometimes a setback can be a blessing in disguise. A positive attitude can help you see that right away. And it always goes back to the attitude thing. Thank you so much, Alex, for sharing that. Carmen, shout out to my old classmate. Yes, Carmen, so glad to see you. God bless you into 2021. She's just giving the girls some awesome responses and shout outs. So thank you so much. Great to see you, Carmen. I hope you and your family are well. Blessings to you in 2021. Barbara says about setbacks and how to bounce back. Listen more. Sometimes just having someone listen is all that we need. Dr. P says, yes, what can you salvage and try a little differently? Iterating. Don't toss out the baby with the bathwater. That's a great statement. Fail better, loving it. Everyone's dropping this in here. Let's see here. We'll see some more here. Cry if you have to for a moment. Get up and do something positive. Love that. Thank you so much, Mom, for sharing that. And Autumn says, I enjoy this podcast. We enjoy you, Autumn. You are awesome. So, I just want to say that throughout this day, I'll again be tweeting out thanks because I'm just so thankful. I mentioned some of the shows that we were able to come on because of this podcast, but I'll be tweeting out my gratitude to those people and, just saying thank you so much for just saying, hey, what you had to say was something that we want to share with a wider audience. So thank you guys so much for that. We are going to share more quotes. So you guys get your second quote out. All right. Who wants to go first this time? All right. Do you have yours? Maybe I have to show yours. Okay. Here we
go. So my quote is, we need to acknowledge what we have instead of worrying about what we wish we had, which is something someone already said, but
yeah, it's still a great quote.
My other quote is, you can thank people for being nice or giving you things, but do thank people for respect or just being there for you.
Ooh, I love that one. I love that.
Give back if you're constantly getting.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys for those quotes. And, everyone who's listening, if you guys have quotes that you love, as we're counting down here, if there are quotes that you guys love, please share them with us. We would love to know the gratitude quotes and sayings that mean so much to you. Yes to this, Amber. Lunch with my kids every day has been a gift. Learning together, able to show up in the moment, just being together. Dr. P, yes, 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 yes. This has been a beautiful opportunity to just get to know our family more, right? I want to just say to everyone that I have known a lot of people during this time who have lost a family member due to COVID-19, right? And I haven't been able to hug the people in my life who've lost someone, right? So to say, hey, dude, it's going to be okay. Or would you like to cry on my shoulder? So me figuring out ways to support those who've lost a loved one in this time has been an interesting challenge. It's been very complicated. I would say, let's just continue to into 21, continue to have empathy for each other, continue to reach out to the people in our lives. There are people who don't have families living in their home with them, so they've been by themselves since March. Reach out to those single people in your life, right? Reach out to the people who are living by themselves. Connect with them, have a video call with them, right? If you haven't talked to your sibling in a long time, even if they're a total jerk, reach out to them, right? Because each day is a blessing. Each day is a wonderful opportunity to try again. And it might not work. It might, you might say, you know what? That person is so whack. I can't believe it. They disappoint me every single time. But I tried, right? I tried. So please reach out to the single people in your life. Please reach out to the people you haven't talked to in a very long time. Connect with those people in 2021. Protect your mental sanity in 2021. Right. Right. Garvey said,
see someone.
Get a therapist if you need to. Pray, right? Make sure you ground yourself spiritually in 2021. We don't know what's coming up, so we want to make sure that we are ready for that. Yes, we need to laugh more and get some funny into our lives for real. Knuckles, shout out to you for that. I love that. I want to just, as we come down here to the last couple minutes, I guess we'll close out by doing the scripted part, so what do we say here?
Thank you for listening to the Let's K12 But It podcast.
Please like, subscribe, and share.
Yes. As always, we want to hear from you, right? Connect with us on social media. You can at Let's K12 Better is the podcast handle. You can connect with me at Mom of All Capes anywhere and everywhere. You can find us on your favorite podcasting app. And please like us and send us ratings and reviews. That is super helpful. But then most importantly, again, we want to acknowledge that this year was intense and unprecedented in so many ways, and that lots of people are still hurting during these times. And we wish peace to anyone who has lost a loved one during COVID-19. And we just have you guys in our prayers. God bless everybody for this upcoming year. We are so thankful for all of you guys who've watched with us live as we've experimented with live streaming. If this is something that is cool, maybe we'll do it again. We had fun. I don't know. Did you guys have fun?
It was really fun.
It was fun?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching with us. We love each and every one of y'all. We hope that you guys have a what? Happy New Year! Yes. Well, that's awesome. All right. So what are you going to say?
Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Thank you guys so very much. And we will see you guys next time. Wait, what?
Don't say that 2020 is going to be your year. Don't jinx it, okay?
2020 is over now, like in like a couple of...
2021. Please don't.
2021. Hey, 20... Thank you guys so much for watching. Lots of hearts to you guys. Thank you guys. Have a happy new year. Many blessings to each and every one of you guys. Thank you guys so much. All right, y'all take care.